Hello, everyone, and welcome to another horrific review. I'm joined once again by Steve, and we're going to have some 80s fun tonight with Night of the Creeps. Directed by Fred Dekker, released in 1986. This movie was made on a budget of $5 million and brought in $590 million at the box office. Steve, welcome, and thanks for suggesting this one. It was a lot of fun, and we just broke Twitch.
590,000.
We went live.
590,000.
Hmm?
Didn't bring in 590 million, did it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all right.
There you go. Yep. Well, that's what the internet tells me anyway.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm trying to use my bloody mouse for me. No, 591,000.
1,000?
Yeah.
Oh, right. Whoops. Okay, I was being. Oh, that tells a different story.
Yeah.
Why is Twitch?
You got.
Sorry, keep talking. I'm trying to fix Twitch.
Yeah.
We broke Twitch.
Yeah. 591,000, because I looked at that and I thought it's actually only made a tenth of what it cost to make. And
that's me. Sorry, that
could have been down as quite a big flop of its time, didn't it?
That's a shame because this is a fun movie.
It is very good, and I was surprised when I read it that it made such a. But if you think 1996. What other films were around that time?
Critters came out that year and had a very Critter-esque opening.
Yeah, but you also had the sort of big blockbusters come in, and starting to come in, didn't you? About 1986, so I suppose you just had the third Star Wars in '83. Were people into that sort of feeling?
With Rawhead Rex. Right. Friday the 13th, part 7. The Fly came out in 1986. Critters, obviously, Poltergeist 2. So,
yeah.
There was loads of, actually, Big Trouble in Little China came out in 1986. There you go. No chance then against that. Little Shop of Horrors.
Yeah. But if you think, looking at Poltergeist 2 wasn't a big hitter like Poltergeist 1.
Yeah, I thought it was a better movie.
But even if it did do a little bit better than Night of the Creeps, it still wasn't a big amount like Poltergeist 1 was. So perhaps horror. I mean, did it flatline around about 1986? And
to me, horror was always more video store as opposed to cinema.
Yeah.
To me, like maybe because I was I was still a young one, 1980s odds. I always looked for the new video release.
Yeah.
And so a lot of my friends, that's what you sort of thought. You didn't really look. You looked at the cinema for all the action movies.
Yeah.
But for the horror section, it was always a video store, and the poster went up on the video store. And that's what I always associate. That's why I kind of love the 80s period, because that's local video store. What's a new horror movie coming out? And that was always the post. You know what I mean? It was always a horror posters.
Yeah. Yeah.
Other movies never had the impact the horror poster did.
I remember my video store up near me so well because I used to go in and chat to the girl. She was called Jess, and her her father was called Rod, and they used to have all the thrillers on one side and all the horror on the other side, and all the lovey-dovey down in the corner, and so you could go in and see all these posters of all the horror films and everything. But she knew what I liked, and she used to say, "Have you seen this film? This looks good." And she used to rely on my reviews of the film so she could tell other customers what it was like.
That's the sad thing about the best job. It moved the best job ever.
Mm.
Like you could work retail and hate your life, but I don't think anybody's ever worked, from what I know and spoke to, anybody's ever worked in a video store and enjoyed themselves.
Yeah,
because they're just
I imagine it's
a hobby.
while you're in between customers, you could probably watch all the films, couldn't you?
Yeah, that's what they always had it set up, and you watch it. But I think you had you had to be in the movies.
Mm.
So if you're in an environment, you're in the movies, and that's it, and you're talking to people. Like it wasn't. Nobody went, "Oh, I want this was wrong," or blah blah blah. And there always seemed to be a good vibe. I've never seen anybody kick off in a video store.
No.
I've never seen anybody in a bad temper. In fact, that's where people went to feel good.
Mm. Yeah.
And there's always, even we joke because we call the video store owner in our one Norman the Bastard. And the thing is, it's just the joke from the young ones, and kind of play it on. His thing was always, if you didn't rewind, that was his thing. So you just you got told off. You did it again. I'm sorry, Norman. But even having a nickname like that, he was a good chap. He talked to you and stuff, and like I said, there's always good natured about it. So I think that's what it is as well. It was always associated with horror, because it was always the horror posters that were the most prominent in any decent video store. Now, maybe not the big chains that come in.
But this one, I don't actually remember it from 1986. I remember seeing it after. It must have been 10 years after. Must have been. Well, no, because we watched it. We used to have an evening when I lived in Cardiff with friends. We used to have all our friends around, get a Chinese, and we used to have what we used to call crap film night. And we used to pick it apart as it happened, like Disney's The Black Hole and stuff like this. And
oh god, I meant to review that one. I meant to get that up, but
they
want money for it, and I refuse to buy Disney stuff. I just flat out refuse now. I want that company dead. I will not contribute one penny to keep that heartbeat going 1 minute longer than it has to.
Disney Plus, they're putting up £3. As from 1st of October, it's going up from $7.99 to $10.99.
Subscribe, just.
And I've stopped it. I used to get it for like Star Wars and some of the National Geographic documentaries, but for what I watch it's just not worth $10.99. And they've done it. They've done it because they're losing subscribers and they need to boost up the funds. And I thought, well, that's the way to lose even more, isn't it?
Yeah, let's squeeze the current customer base. Yeah, that works. That's always a wonderful. That's your Netflix is doing the same. Trying to squeeze. In fact, I was sharing an account with my niece because I got rid of mine, and she shared it, and then she's like, "I never watched the thing." She, do I need the ad now? Blah blah blah. I'm like, no, don't. I told you like ages ago when that thing happens, just take me off. I don't even watch the bloody platform. Wouldn't even touch Disney Plus. The reason Prime's good value is because you get the delivery service as well. It's tied into a package.
Yeah.
Which is all right. But even then, I could do without it. You know what I mean? I can. Yeah. I'm starting to go back to like physical media.
Yeah.
So I'm just looking at. I looked at movies released in 1986, and oh my god, talk about nostalgia trip here.
One of the what we were talking about, crap film night. One of the things that we picked up on crap film night, and I remember it well, was the dog that was in front of the bus. Oh
my god! And the driver's eyeballs going bong like fucking Roof Rib Roger Rabbit.
You could tell it was a toy. It was like one of those that the kids sit on and get pushed around on, And I thought, yeah, that was picked up on. But
by the way, hello chat. Sorry, I'll get you in a wee second.
We used to sit there and go, "Oh no, look this again." Some things like that, when we picked up something like a toy dog, or like when on the Black Hole when Maximilian Snell's going, he says, Anthony Perkins says to him, "You're going into the Black Hole, Dr. Reinhardt?" in, through, and then he looks, realizes he's pointing in the wrong direction, goes, and beyond. And we won't get, no! So that's the sort of thing. Yeah.
Dale, you like this movie? It's a lot of fun. It's just cheesy. It's not trying to do anything special. It's just we're here to have a laugh.
You have to go and watch it now, Dale.
Yep. I meant to put a poll up in the channel, like who actually watches the movie before we come on to do a review, because that would kind of be cool. If you're going to come on the chat, watch. You know what I mean? I put the link up for the movie if you want to watch it. So
yeah.
80s video store, Chris from Back to the Future's come in. Instead of that he does tell us that that was the 80s, man. There was a whole loose vibe of we'll talk about adult stuff around kids, but at the same time, I don't know. It was. I don't think we're any the worse for wear from it. I think kids are more damaged now.
Yeah.
With the constant, kids are more miserable now than we were. We used to laugh and snigger and.
Oh, it's too serious now.
Yeah, that's a problem. That's
you're not allowed to say what you think now, are you?
Yeah, that's the same thing, because I always put the link, if anybody wants to check out the video, and that's why I try and put this up at least a week in advance so that people can look at the episode and then see what the video is and be armed with it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Or are you just waiting for us to tell you what we think about it before you do? Because that's cheating. Because if it's a bad movie, you have to go through the pain the same time as we go through it, and then you can kind of laugh at us going, yeah, I know what he's going to say next.
Yeah. So going back to this, why do you think it lost so much money?
I don't know, because there's an absolute ton of movies come out. The Wraith came out that year. Chopping Mall was out. Like I said, Critters. Class of Newcomb High came out that year.
Yeah.
The Fly, obviously. Highlander. Big Trouble in Little China. So it's not as if there's a problem in movies or horror films.
I can remember the marketing behind Critters and Big Trouble in Little China, but I can't remember any marketing for this one. And I matched it more or less to Return of the Living Dead, the comedy one with the first one with Roddy McDowell, and it was about 1979, was it, something like that?
Yeah, I've got that on my watch list because I want to go through because that's the director and Romero. He worked with Romero, and I was trying to find out the difference between the two, and it's basically I can't remember his name now, but the director of Return of the Living Dead, he just as a sort of an amicable, we'll go our own way.
Yeah,
we're not treading each other's throat or toes. He would call his the Living Dead series.
Yeah.
And Romero just stick to
the dead,
and then that's why you could tell the difference between the two movies.
Yeah, because that's what I put it. I thought it's the same sort of direction and comedy storyline sort of thing, and
I think they maybe had too much of a good thing.
Yeah, I just. When I saw that it only made 591,000. I mean,
Hard to Duck came out that year. I remember that. Ferris Bueller's Day Off. That's a well overrated movie. I don't see why people hold that like on a pedestal because that
was another one on our crap film list.
Yeah, well, that kind of makes sense. Absolutely. Transformers the movie came out that year as well. That's what it was. Everyone was traumatized at the death of Optimus Prime and just couldn't watch movies again for the rest of the year. If Transformers the movie came out before this, that was it. Everybody went and watched it.
Yeah.
And then we're just traumatized for the rest of the year and couldn't watch any other movies. They're afraid to go to the cinema.
Yeah.
There you go. We'll solve the mystery. Because there's nothing. I wouldn't say it's a paint by numbers. sort of horror flicker zombie movie because there's quite a bit thrown into this.
If you look at it from someone who say we never seen it before,
yeah,
the first scene you'd think it's an alien film, but a very bad.
Yeah, like what you mean, aliens that can't
rubber
shoot
man
up
in
a
a suit
corridor.
alien film, isn't it? You could
Like,
tell they were rubber men in suits.
Yeah, but the
rubber
fact
suits.
that the other aliens run the way and there's no context to why or what's happening, but they couldn't shoot straight up a corridor. They had, like, he should have been obliterated
Yeah.
before he got to the door. And it's like, here, take out the gun with the actual scope on it. Oh, that works. Obviously, they're running, go pew pew, like it's a straight line corridor.
How could you miss?
What the hell?
But perhaps, well, yeah. I mean, they could have had the American Army in the suits or something like that, you know.
The flipping.
But
I was always nearly things. The M16 wasn't it? Fired from the hip. Bah, 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 bah. You know that bit shaped like that, so it goes in. You know, in this bit.
But if you look at it, all right, yeah, your first impressions, it's an alien film.
Yeah.
Then suddenly it goes into the serial killer.
Yeah, the 1950s.
Yeah, and you think,
well, black and white.
Is it an alien film or a serial killer film? You know,
both actually, and some more.
Yeah, but you don't find that out until a little bit later, yeah. But
but the scenes weren't that. You know, I mean, what was that? 10 minutes worth.
Yeah.
So it's only really the first 10 minutes, and then it cuts straight to 1986. So boom. It's not as if it wastes time. If that had been like half an hour before we got to the plot, which movies today would do. So if this was a modern movie, you'd be spending 45 minutes on that subplot.
Yeah.
And then they go to the main plot and then just have to shove everything in the last 10 minutes. You know, this was nicely paced, though. It was a good setup.
Yeah.
And it all linked, you know, give links to who's all connected and why.
Yeah.
Which is fun. Talking about which, what is it about insane asylums and leaving axes lying around the place?
Yeah, I don't know, because
okay, here's where we're housing all the dangerous criminals that can't be rehabilitated.
Away, wouldn't you?
Yes, I know what. I even better we'll put it in a glass case because that'll work.
Yeah. We're giving out breakfast. Who wants an axe? Today we're going to have games on the lawn. You can play croquet. You can play axe murderer. Here's an axe.
Yeah, it was kind of like what's happening here.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like I said, it wasn't that long, so it was okay. I was okay with it.
No, but I mean, some people really would have looked at it, you know, if they were going through, say, Amazon Prime and thinking, what can I watch tonight? Mm-hmm. And they saw the write-up about, you know, turning into zombies. But then they saw these men in rubber suits and suddenly there was a serial killer. They would have thought, oh, this looks absolutely rubbish. Turn it off. Because I think a lot of people today, they base their opinions on like the first 5 minutes of what they pick up on a streaming service. But I know in some cases I do, where I haven't heard of a film before, or it's an Amazon Prime film especially that they've made. I think, no, this is rubbish. But...
Yeah, here's the everything. Everything's modern reviews. I tried to even put reviews of Night of the Creeps at the time or in 1986 and nothing. It's all Rotten Tomatoes and stuff like that. So that's a shame because there are departments. That's why you had that whole there's a whole job. You know, if you wanted to research somebody, they go and look at all the newspaper clippings and that, and that's archived and microfiche. I'm surprised that hasn't been kept, you know, as in stored digitally for people to look at.
But it goes back to my question. But was it marketed right? I can't remember seeing anything about this film in 1986. And like I said, I used to go into the video shops and everything. We used to have videos quite regularly.
Aliens come out that year as well.
Yeah.
Do you know what I think's happened? You've Big Trouble in Little China, you've Aliens,
Yeah.
Little Shop of Horrors, you've Critters, and that I always remember the Critters poster.
Yeah.
Top Gun came out that year.
Top Gun. Yeah.
Heartbreak Ridge came out that year. God,
I think it was, like I said, the
I think it just got buried. If it had come out a year earlier or a year later.
Yeah. Return of the Living Dead was 85, wasn't it?
Yeah, hang on. I'm just going to... I'm going to do that. I'm going to do the year before and the year after just to see what will come out.
Yeah, 1985.
Friday Night come out and... God, there's tons of... Oh, Teen Wolf come out. Return of the Living Dead come out, yeah. Legend come out, 1985. The Stuff. God, there's... Do you know what it is? This movie got buried. That's what's happened.
Yeah.
There's Rocky 4 come out. Bloody hell. Did I see that in the cinema? I did. Yeah, it got buried.
Yeah. And because it might have had poor marketing,
yeah,
no one knew about it. So
yeah, and there's too many big hitters come out that year and the year before, and it probably I'm going to got 87. Let's have a look. Evil Dead 2, Dolls, God, Prince of Darkness come out. Oh, Nightmare on Elm Street 3 come out the year after. The Witches of Eastwick, The Howling. Oh God, that was awful. The Howling 3. That's the Australian one with the fucking weird.
Yeah.
Friggin' werewolf thing in the pram. Oh God, that was
But it's
1987. God, House 2. Yeah. So there's 3 years of just tons. Creepshow 2 came out in 1987. Right. Tons of epic movies and epic horror movies. So this is just one of many.
Yeah.
I didn't have a chance.
No. And
that's the problem.
People probably got the reviews from their friends and from the TV of things like Critters and everything like that. I thought, I'll go and see Critters. But
yeah, go see that one. Go see this. Go see, yeah. And then obviously with video rentals, because of all that stuff coming out, it's just got lost in the middle.
Yeah.
That's what's happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see the pattern now. Flipping there's 3 years, the year before, year after, and that current year, just absolutely chock full of brilliant movies, no classics.
Yeah. Did you see all the characters in Night of the Creeps? Their surnames were all names of like big film people, like James Cameron. You had what was it? He was Detective Cameron, Chris Romero, George Romero. Who else did you have? Sergeant Raimi, Sam Raimi. They used all the surnames from sort of big horror people as character names. So
that works. I never picked up. I knew who was it? Cynthia what was her surname? I knew there was something being played with there with her surname.
Cynthia Cronenberg.
Yeah, I'm like huh?
David Cronenberg. Yeah. And Steve Miner was used as Mr. Miner, the janitor.
Laughing at the same joke 2 days later. Scream like banshees! Ha ha ha! Like, okay, mate, you're about simple.
You had John Carpenter and Tobe Hooper were in the same name, James Carpenter Hooper. Yeah, I noticed that. But I thought that was quite a good idea actually. But that's not the sort of thing you would pick up. But,
I picked up a Cronenberg. I'm like, hold on, but I Like I said, I watched it. When did I watch it?
That's when I realised when she says, "Oh, Cynthia Cronenberg," and then it come up with the Cameron. They also had John Landis, Detective Landis. Yeah, when they said Detective Cameron, I thought, oh, they've used Cameron, they've used Cronenberg, and then I listened up for there was Romero, and I thought, something strange.
The dots.
Googled it, and that's what happened. So, yeah,
like it. But that's
that was a clever move, really.
Yeah, that was the 80s as well. Like I said, there's genuine love with these movies. Like, you just got this good vibe all over, unless they were all hiding it, and they really were still. Well, obviously, Clive Barker movies went out that year, and you heard all the production hell drama, but it just seemed to be the creators at that time had a positive attitude.
Yeah.
Positive, almost like a brotherhood. It was almost like, yeah, we're all in the same boat here. Let's make movies, and let's we'll love what each other do. We get inspiration, so let's give nods and winks. And I don't know, you just felt better today. You just don't get any of that at all.
No, and today it would be quite risky to put out a comedy horror film, like this. People would say, "Oh no, we can't do something like that." Return of the Living Dead was a comedy horror, with old Roddy McDowall playing the vampire hunter. He was just funny, and when you consider he was like Planet of the Apes, he nearly got typecast as the guy in the Planet of the Apes, the monkey. I forget his name now, but
was it Cornelius?
Cornelius, yeah, it was Cornelius, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
But he nearly got typecast as that, and suddenly he comes out with this cracker of a film. I thought it was brilliant, hilariously brilliant. But I went to the cinema to see that one. So, but like I said again, Return of the Living Dead, I heard about, went to the cinema to see it. If I'd known about this one, I would have gone to the cinema to see it.
Yeah.
And
I honestly think it just got buried.
Yeah.
When you see what's come out, yeah, it's just unfortunate, just timing.
Yeah.
And we had too much of a good thing, but we can enjoy it now.
Yeah.
30 odd years later, and still have a laugh. I don't see many movies coming out this time period that we can enjoy 30 years from now.
No.
Most of them will be forgotten about, and people are still looking at this stuff. What source website? Covered in the mouse. There it is. Right. I don't trust them. No. I don't even trust my mates because bastards stitch me up like Cameron. So I'm sure Steve will do it sometime. He'll like, haha, you like this one? I'm just waiting for it. Just waiting for the kidney shot. You know what I mean? Take that on. Here's the found footage film that will change your mind. Flipping Dale stitched me up as well. One point with one of her, what was the one she recommended? And the flipping wanted to die, pull my eyeballs out. That'll change your mind.
I don't think you can trust any of them, really.
You just got to go with your gut. And
a lot of them, members of the public can edit. If you check Wikipedia, isn't it?
Yeah, they can go in and edit the Wikipedia page. So
there was because if you take that comedian Joe Lycett, he done a bit to say he went in and put stupid things on a lot of the Wikipedia things. His mum was this was John Smith. He was a great film, maker, but his mum used to spank him and stuff like that. He just changed it all just to see that he could do it. But it's the same. I could put stuff on there, and Wikipedia are constantly asking for donations. So do they have the staff to check everything that people?
Probably not. It was meant to be open source anyway.
Yeah,
it was never meant to be that. Here's the thing about Wikipedia: it was never meant to be like the source of all knowledge. It was meant to be like just a social thing.
Yeah.
and a bit of fun. But like always, people just want the easy answer. They don't want to do research.
Yeah, because it's not even allowed in universities, or it never used to be able to. When I worked in Plymouth University, you weren't allowed to quote Wikipedia.
Well, it makes sense because Wikipedia is a quote itself.
Yeah.
So, and the whole point of study is you go to the source material. You have to go in actual research books that has evidence.
Yeah. Yeah. But,
what a mad concept, eh? Apart from see what the news channels telling you. Oh, that's what I believe this week. Then when they change their mind 2 days later, oh, we believe that now, but you believe this 2 days ago. But they're telling us. Look at the professional voice saying to believe this now. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I just burned the world.
Yeah. So yeah,
this is why we have 80s movies, though.
What
because, you've just got every cheesy trope having going, every stereotype you can think of in this movie.
Yeah.
The main characters, Chris and JC, like they could have been just straight out of Revenge of the Nerds, just planked in there, or every nerd movie if you want to put them in.
Yeah, you just couldn't. I think, yeah, you're right. You just couldn't pin a character down, could you? None of them had direct characterization, did they? Because if you
they're all walking tropes. But it was funny as well because it's a comedy.
Yeah.
So we're not here for like super serious. Now there's a few serious moments, obviously, you know, done that way, but still they're walking tropes, and I had no problem with it. You know, I wasn't annoyed.
No.
Which is funny because the modern, I don't know, the holier than now types said there's no disabled representation until like 2016 when they changed the world. And you're like, really? You haven't obviously watched the movies I've watched all through the 80s because this isn't JC's character isn't the first person, like he's on crutches. I never batted an eyelid. He was a cool character.
Yeah.
I don't understand where all these wet wipes came from in like the 2010 onwards. Going, Mimi, this hasn't happened before us. It's like, yeah, we've been through this like at least 30 years, but now I can't go back to bed. Silly bastards.
I thought it was good how.
Oh yeah, Dale's just rattling off the movies that you. Well, I got you a color. I got her with Killer Sofa. I'll own that one. Was that in revenge for Midsummer? I think Killer Sofa was revenge for something.
Wasn't that made by the same guy who done Hereditary? Midsummer. Was it?
Yes.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was an A24 movie.
Yeah.
As well.
It's just weird, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It's one of those like Hereditary where you sit there and you're staring at the screen going, what's happening?
Yeah, it was hilarious. So we had Dale and I reviewed it and it was absolutely hilarious. Just so daft. And it goes from moments of extreme horror to just stupid.
It's like, who sits in the cinema and it's supposed to be a serious horror film, Hereditary, and when the kid's head gets knocked off, the back row all burst into laughter. Was it supposed to be a funny moment? But
sorry, that's yeah.
Hereditary.
We did Midsummer. I haven't done
Midsummer. Was.
I watched Hereditary twice, I think, and that was enough.
Yeah.
Like, nah, don't need to revisit that again. That was like,
Yeah, I thought some of the lines in Night of the Creeps were just brilliantly put, weren't they? What was it?
I want to marry her. Okay, one problem with that. You need to talk to her first.
Yeah.
Do you see my problem? Is it like, yeah. Just like thrill me.
That detective, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I've got good news and bad news, girls. The good news is your dates are here. The bad news is they're dead.
I was using it. That's a classic. That was on the title and everything. You're like, why have we never picked up on that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just a shame this movie got buried in amongst like 3 great years of movies. So it really had no hope. It was fighting an uphill battle.
Yeah.
If it was if it was cryogenically frozen and just released today, I think it would be like, oh, what? What's this? Wow!
Yeah.
It would get its other 4.5 million back.
Yeah.
It's bound to have made that back now in video sales and cents. Did they ever count? Like, there has to be a point where these movies turn a profit, even if they don't do initially brilliantly at the box office.
Yeah.
Like, money still changes hand and comes in the door. They still exist.
At what point?
Some might take 20 years to do it, but still, eventually.
At what point do they stop analyzing how much it's taken? Like, you could have last week such a film made 2 million. Do they say, all right, that's it, cut off last week? Anything it makes after this, we're not going to record because we can't keep going in and recording how much it's made.
But that's the whole point. You have an accounts department. It's like going to in the shop. All right, my Mars bars. I know I bought them last week, but they didn't sell out the first weekend, so they're not going to make me profit anymore. And then somebody you buy them on the Thursday, and because they don't sell out by Sunday, that's it. You consider it a loss. And then everybody that buys a Mars bar from Monday onwards doesn't count.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense.
Well, it does. The tax dodging bastards.
But you would think, even for where are the nerds? I think that's a problem with Hollywood. There's no nerds anymore.
Yeah.
Like, some nerds bound to have got all the movies that the studio does and have a graph, and every week the sales comes in and it goes ping, 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 and then a funny, one that starts off in the red, it's going, like Night at the Races, the Night at the Races game?
Yeah.
We've got them going the slot machine. Da, 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 da. And then somebody could be sitting calling out on Friday night, and here we go, and it's Night of the Creeps and Return of the Living Dead, and it's back in the minus 500, and this week it's going. Yeah, it made a profit. I would that's how I would operate things. I just think it'd be funny, just as things happen.
Yeah.
And every re-release or anniversary release just adds to the profit of a movie from its initial making. Yeah, but you're right. They're all up to dodgy stuff. So
I think unless you were brought up in the era of this film, the youngsters of today probably wouldn't look at it.
Who cares about kids? They're useless.
So any sort of possible profit from that sort of group of people, unless they were nutty about films like you, you just wouldn't get it. So the profits would have slowed quite a long time ago. You might get the odd 1 or 2 or 3.
Well, as long as it gets put in streaming for free, it obviously gets rent. It gets part of a package. Money changes hands for it to be on the platform.
Yeah.
And I rented it, so it's not as if it doesn't. And I'm sure I'm not the only one on the planet that's rented this movie, or else it wouldn't be on there. It'd be taken off.
Yeah. Well, yeah, there was quite good streaming service on this one.
So that's what I mean. There's people still have an interest.
Yeah.
And the whole point of doing this is revisiting that. Well, maybe you missed this one when it came out, so here's your chance.
Yeah.
And there's some movies obviously we've watched and it's like, yeah, I really enjoyed that, and then we'll go back and it's like, oh god, maybe not. What was I thinking? We've done that once or twice.
Yeah. Yeah,
so,
as well.
But I gotta love Cynthia, like the 30-year-old student. I just love that trope of the 80s. Like university students are all in their 30s and like, well,
she didn't look 30, did she?
Nah, but they're all I know it makes sense. Obviously, you're not gonna have actual well, I suppose the usual jokes of the high school, but I suppose universities could have had a closer age, but yeah, they were all well older.
Yeah.
Funny. It's a weird voice.
Yeah.
Her voice took me a minute to get to grips with.
Yeah. Yeah, I suppose you did, thinking of it. No, yeah, the characters were all. I mean, if you think the chances of, she was quite a good-looking girl
Mm-hmm.
back in the 80s. The chances of that lad actually getting a date with her were quite remote, weren't they? Back in
But
the
that was
80s.
the whole joke. Should have. That's what I
Yeah,
said. The trope, the nerd trope, trying to get with a beautiful woman, and of course, what do they do? They try to join in with the bros, but they're never going to fit in, and the bros are bro-tastic. You couldn't get more broier than this movie, than flipping bros with bros on top, sprinkled with bro.
yeah, yeah. But
Dude.
yeah, why did they have um, a body in a university in the first place?
And a secret government experiment.
Yeah, in a university.
And surely they would have checked it for foreign, like it still had the slugs inside it, so they
Yeah,
would have checked for foreign infestations, wouldn't they have? Like,
yeah, yeah. But it would have had armed guards and everything, wouldn't it? And
yeah, not just a
locked
door
locked in a high security, area.
in its own building, a government building, maybe not a university,
Yeah.
with serious scientists looking at it, going,
You
"That's
think
not right."
how easy these two students got down into that, into that cellar, wasn't it, and basement where this body was. It's it's one of the fun things about it.
But well, yeah, I don't know. Well, and how many universities have a mortuary?
That's right. What sort of university was it?
Yeah, it was like it must be an American thing because
We're going to do dissection today, in where are we going to get the parts? Well, we'll just go downstairs and pick some up.
Yeah. I know obviously medical students have them donated,
Yeah,
but they're all specific. And then I think that doctor, the trainee doctors, have like the one cadaver, and that's it for like a term.
yeah.
So that's what they basically have to work on. So it's not as if it's tightly controlled. It's in its own building and stuff. So I think you're just floating about the place.
Yeah.
But yeah, the whole thing of, right, I know, let's join the thing we hate because that'll impress her as we get humiliated when we know we're never going to fit in. What a waste of effort. I don't know. I never got with that mindset. I know there's people do it. But I just never understood that in movies or real life.
No. That was pretty strange, that one.
But that was always a trope of the 80s. The nerd becomes a popular kid.
If you think of the group of lads that dared them to, or said, if you want to join, you've got to get this. I mean, if that was me, I would have thought, I'm never going to get on with you guys. As a bugger, I'm not going to join
well,
you.
Yesterday at work, I had to go and do a pickup in central London, and flipping Regent Street, the snobbiest of snobby high streets ever, in the Apple Store.
Oh yeah.
And I'm just in my grungies, going to pick up a thing for a customer, and do you know when you just know you do not belong?
Yeah.
And all these hipster kids, I even text back to the office going, "I'm in hell. I'm in hipster hell. Why did you send me to hipster hell?" And they're all killing themselves back in the office going, "Why am I here? What the hell have you done to me?" I'm just looking around. And then you got all these kids and their Apple gear going, "Hi." I'm like, don't speak to me. Is there anybody over 12 here that I can actually ask something? And then when you ask them the questions, like, it's like, it was the whole thing. I'm just like, what the hell? I wouldn't go and apply for a job. I'll be like me going, I'm going to apply here tomorrow and try and fit in with you guys. It would never happen. I just know it.
No, you have to be a bit of a dork, don't you?
Yeah,
I know. One of the jokes I used to tell when I worked at the university was, What does a Plymouth University graduate say when they graduate? Do you want fries with that? Yeah.
And that, my friends, is why I did MVQs.
That is why I got fired.
Oh dear. But yeah, that's always been a running trope in the 80s movies that, oh, the nerdy kids, the only way they can succeed is to become the popular kids.
Yeah.
And I think this is actually, I've had this theory running around my mind because we have the whole revenge of the nerds thing. You know, it happened in real life in the 90s where the nerd became the IT tech support that became the fountain of knowledge for modern culture, because comic books, they actually became the leaders. And then the sorority brats, the Brads and the Cynthias and stuff, they saw this. And I think today is actually those same people getting revenge on the nerds to try and put the nerds back in their place.
Yeah.
This whole, and it's always done with kindness, but I actually think the nastiness behind it is like, how dare you get above your station and not need us? So we're going to move into your hobbies and destroy them.
Yeah.
I honestly think that's what's happened.
Yeah.
Because it's come full circle. You know what I mean? It started out in the 80s, and then around about the 90s, the nerd became king.
Yeah.
And now it's like these ones are now fighting back to put the stamp of nerd down and destroy their hobbies and just our hobbies, and take it over, and you're a terrible person for liking this, and then call names and stuff.
Mm.
And that's what it is. It's down under. This battle has been raging for decades, if not longer.
Yeah.
When do you think the first nerd came about?
It's 83, Revenge of the...
No, I mean just the first nerd in general. The idea of the nerd.
The idea of the nerd, I don't know. I suppose when perhaps technology started to increase.
Because there's always a joke, the glasses and the pen holder and the checkered shirt.
Because the nerd name then changed into Yuppie in the 90s.
No, was that not the more young, upwardly mobile something? No, that was more the sorority brats. They became the Yuppies. Nerds became geeks and hobbyists now. It's got older. Was it an 80s phenomenon? Well, were there nerds? Were there such a thing as nerds about in the 70s? Wasn't really a thing, was it?
Never had nerds in the 70s, did you? You just started getting computers in the 80s, like the Spectrum.
BBC computer.
BBC computer.
Granny's. I remember playing Granny's Garden. I wonder if we can get that online.
Remember the old Atari games console?
Oh, have you seen that? They're doing the 2600 plus. So you can buy the 2600 plus now. It's 110 quid. But the games are going to be like, the cartridges are going to have like 10 games on them, but they're going to be like 50 quid each. And that's where I'm like, oh, we're getting stroked here.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. I used to love the old games, the Space Invaders. And you've been trying to get the last one. That was.
I started off with the Spectrum 48K, otherwise known as the Specky rubber key.
Yeah.
That size and the flip. See, trying to operate and the keys always got stuck. Yeah. And you had to plug the tape deck in separately. And then we then upgraded to the 128K, which is all built in.
Yeah, I had a Spectrum. But yeah, you're probably right. It's when computers started to
come in role-playing games like did it all start with Dungeons and Dragons? That came out when? I think that came out in the 80s, early 80s.
Yeah. I don't know.
But yeah, that was the yeah, it must have been. Oh, right, we're starting a whole tangent here. Astro Wars, Gattaca, and oh, you've been super busy lately, Dale. All her stuff's coming out. She wasn't There's written lots of short stories now. They're all getting published left, right, and centre. But Galileo, the first nerd.
It's all this.
That's such a nerd thing to say. Yeah, I think I'm starting to think. Yeah, the nerd has become the 80s phenomenon, and some just the right circumstances created the nerd.
Yeah, because you don't hear the word much now, do you? Oh, you're a nerd.
No, because now it's alt-right Nazi, estaphobe. Honestly, it's legit. Everyone they're targeting are nerds, so it's every nerd is now a bigot. And it's the middle class sorority brats are the ones initiating the venom. And then they've gone so far now to actually move into hobbies. And then, this isn't good enough. We need to change it. And we're going to be talking about that in a couple of weeks. They're starting to try and do it to horror because we have remained largely unaffected by all this nonsense going on. So they're like, hang on, right? You're getting off scot-free. We're coming for you. Pesky horror fans and creators. We'll fix your wagon for you.
You talk about horror again. Do you remember what MJ said about when she typed in horror and it come up with the warning? I had that again. I had that on Instagram today.
Yeah, I remember Damon was talking about it and I typed it in and brought up. I just went, fuck right off. I just lost it there and then. Like, you patronizing bastards.
Yeah, I did on.
Yeah, that's why we're going to do the sensitivity. I think of a whole different panel this time. A whole bunch of different people have said they want to get involved. So, we're going to talk about sensitive people in horror.
Yeah.
And I do believe in my heart, and that's my theory, that it's the same, because these sort of movies, it's the fraternity types, the sorority types, hate nerds, and nothing's changed.
No.
We're two different, it's not a political thing, it's not a left and right thing, it's just the new veneer, it's not a religious thing, it's the old war of the sorority brat or the fraternity bro was created, and then there was the nerd, and never it's like that.
Yeah. The nerd.
Brad, like there was a character, was just like there's cliche written all over him. We may as well just have bro.
I love the bit when he actually became a zombie and the girl didn't realise he was
what a difference.
She sat beside him.
But that was a joke.
It's like, well, his eyes is all like, Brad, what are you doing? Well, he's come here to kill you. Let's just sit outside.
Tell you what, I said this here. The more I see of American fraternities, the happier I am to be British.
Oh, God.
The 80s stereotype of nerds is that they're unathletic and unattractive. The stereotype now is that they're rich. Yeah, because when you're not, let's say, getting boozed up every weekend and chasing tail, and you focused on what you're actually interested in, guess what happens?
You shouldn't get.
You accumulate.
Yeah, pick it up.
But yeah, I'm just like that reaction still today to anything hobbyist.
Yeah,
there's still that from the same type of people, and even just general normies. It's just like, oh, that nerd, not one of us. Why aren't you watching Britain's Got Talent every Saturday like a brain dead zombie? Why are you doing YouTube stuff? You know what I mean? They just don't understand, and what people don't understand, they hate.
I tend to pick up quite a lot of my stuff off YouTube. I do like to watch a bit of stuff on.
That's my favorite channel. Honestly, I could spend hours on you. I could. Well, obviously, I don't want to pay the Jimmy Savile tax. That's why I don't have a terrestrial TV because I'm not paying the license fee. But even with the channels I've got or catch up, I've no interest.
No,
I If it wasn't reviewing movies, I don't think I'd be watching as many. I do enjoy them, but I always see movies as a weekend thing.
Yeah.
I wouldn't watch as many movies during the week if I wasn't doing this.
Yeah.
Gives me a reason to. But I can go on YouTube for hours.
See, I can't get into series very easy. Things like Line of Duty I watched as a series, and Bodyguard, and what was that one?
I'm like,
Line of Duty was a BBC special police firearms, and they investigated all the corrupt things that were going on in the police. And Bodyguard was a bodyguard to all the important MPs and stuff like that, and he was set up. And those two were quite good, but it's like my other half at the moment is watching all the Good Doctors, and
I have seen clips of that.
I started watching a couple, and then I thought I can't do this.
I watched the clip or two. You know the way they pop up in the Facebook videos, and that guy's voice does my head in.
Oh yeah, that's why I stopped.
I'm like, nah, I'd throw something at the TV.
And then there's one called Invasion, Apple TV.
Oh, I saw the ad for that. I'm like, nah, even just the intro. I'm like, nah.
We're on episode 7, and you still haven't seen the alien.
That stuff, I'm just like, nah, not even cross my radar.
But
I always want to try to watch there.
Series, so I tend to watch films, and again, it's like you. It's one of the reasons I don't pay the TV license, because I don't really watch BBC, and I don't really watch live TV. I'd rather sit down and watch a film, than one or two things I'll watch. Yeah, but not a lot. Mainly serial killers, and I do like the true life stuff. But
I had to be in the check for a mood. What was the last true life? What's his face? Ted Bundy.
Yeah.
Well, what's Zach?
Yeah.
Somebody called Zach played him.
Yeah.
I watched it because James Hetfield was in it, so he did like a scene as a sheriff.
Yeah.
Because even though I don't like Metallica now, I did back in the day, and it's still a wee bit of nostalgia bit. You know, oh, there's James Hetfield. The only one out of Metallica I actually like.
Yeah.
The rest of them are dicks.
I'm just gonna.
But yeah, I think that's the last true crime sort of. I know everyone was going on about the Jeffrey Dahmer one, but I had just no interest.
No, I do like British true crime. I watched stuff on the railway murders, where they thought it was one killer, and of course it was two. That was a sort of documentary come series that they put on, and then all the stuff. British killers are interesting. Watched the thing the other day about Rolf Harris. I watched the Jimmy Savile thing.
Oh, I watched that one. It was a two-parter, and it was basically all BBC going, "We didn't know nothing. We knew nothing. We knew nothing."
That's right, yeah.
Like, yeah. Is this Jimmy Savile, the arse covering session?
Yeah.
The arse covering tapes and fucking, what do you call that? The arsehole, Andrew Neil.
Yeah.
He's all like, I knew nothing. I'm like, yeah, mate, you're probably holding freaking kids' bum cheeks.
That comedian.
So the man doth protest too much.
That
allegedly, you know.
He says, I found an old 1976 copy of the Radio Times the other day, or the Sex Offenders Register, as it's now known.
That organisation should not get one penny of taxpayers' money. But anyway, we're here to be happy.
We're going off on
that's a horror story in itself. Institutions that we used to trust.
Yeah.
Now, yeah, I wasn't proud to be British that moment when all that came out.
Yeah.
Just kind of ashamed. But yeah, we'll talk about the flipping restriction. There's not too much. This is not a complicated plot, so it's not that we can nitpick it, you know, bit by bit. It's really very straightforward. You start at point A, you get to point Z.
Yeah, it's not even as complicated as some of the like Scream or something like that. You know, it just goes down the line of the serial killer, and it was frozen in the base of a universe.
It wasn't the serial killer that was frozen. It was the kid,
the
boyfriend.
Ah, right. Yeah.
You know the boyfriend in the car. He's the one who went and found the canister.
Yeah.
So it was him that got frozen, because then we found out that actually Detective Cameron hunted which I got confused. I'm like, why did he hunt him? And then I realized it was a dream sequence with him standing with a shotgun.
Yeah. And
at the car. I'm like, oh, right, that didn't actually happen.
And his face was a skeleton, wasn't it? Or, zombie skeleton type thing. Yeah.
The effects in this were decent.
Yeah. For 1986.
Yeah, they were even the slugs. Like, what was I trying to think of? Either Slither or Slugs. The flipping effects. Now, those two movies are awful.
There were one or two where you could see the strings or the wires. That made them move.
You were expecting
again, 80s.
Yeah, once again, you're expecting all of them.
Yeah.
God, what have they done now with CGI? If there were CGI slugs, that look awful.
Yeah, and they'd move it 1 million miles per hour, wouldn't they?
Yes, where actually the ease of the movement and the way they did it was
it's the right speed for slugs, really.
But they obviously traded that off with the speed of the humans.
Yeah.
Could these people have moved any slower in this movie?
Yeah. Probably not. But then again, that's the old sort of 70s, 80s horror, isn't it? Where they no matter how fast you go, running wise, wouldn't it, to get away from the serial killer would be strolling and he'd still beat you.
Yeah. Actually, that's been done as a joke. But there was a movie, I can't remember, I reviewed it not so long ago, and they tried to do normal speed in front of the camera for bits, and it looked really shaky and wobbly, and then you realise that's why it was because of the camera frames, why they have to do the movement that slow. But this took the mick. This was a joke, because of course we need an alcoholic burnt out character, so this is Atkins' agent, because he's not a stereotype at all.
Not at all.
No, but that bit where he's like, go lock that door, and then the camera pans, like it's only from there to there, and the camera pans, and could she have moved really?
Yeah. I thought his line when he went down to the police store.
Yes.
He says, what I'm going to need is your standard flamethrower.
And Dick Miller, of course, who doesn't love Dick Miller in a movie?
Oh, brilliant!
One flamethrower. There you go. Oh, by the way, you got to watch this, baby. Once you get the pilot lit, it goes out like a son of a bitch and blah blah blah. Now I just need to see a requisition form. It's just so casual about it. Yeah. That's the problem, as he starts loading the shotgun. It's just so that was my favorite scene in the entire movie.
Yeah. And the police of today would go, "You're not allowed to have a live." Shotgun in here, sort of thing, with live rounds in. But
but the way he just calls it, look, I'm stealing this from you, so I've got him look menacing. It was all that nudge, nudge, wink, wink, and today it would be explained. That whole thing that he had no intention of shooting him whatsoever.
Yeah,
but he's like, I really need this, and obviously you can't give it out, so I'm going to make it look as if I'm robbing you. And he's like, per cop gov. That was all implied, and I miss that level of dialogue.
Yeah,
a clever dialogue. That there's one scene, so much is going on, and it's only 3 characters, and there's no special effects or anything. It's 3 characters in a room, and that's it.
Yeah.
And if they try to do that today, back to Ghostbusters. Ghostbusters, the elevator scene. When you just got the 4 of them in the elevator.
Yeah.
And they're like, we've got untested nuclear prototypes here. And they try to edge away from each other, and they realize there's nowhere to go. And that is just clever dialogue.
Yeah.
And then
they're going to shoot the toilet rolls, don't they?
Yeah.
The poor lady's there going, oh.
But that scene in the elevator. But this was an example of that sort of like really tight dialogue, and it just portrays so much that today that scene would take half an hour today.
Yeah,
because it'd have to explain. Yes, I'm not. I know you can't give me it, so I'm going to pretend to rob you. Yes, I know you're going to pretend to rob me, and I'm going to play along. Blah blah blah. You know.
I think the funny thing with going back to the flamethrower was they give it to the girl, and expected her to know how to use it. Here's a flamethrower. Okay.
Oh, there's another thing as well. I thought there weren't any girl bosses until Jennifer Lawrence did it.
Any girl
bosses?
Oh, girl. Oh.
No, there were no heroic feminine, characters until 2016 when Jennifer Lawrence appeared on the screens. Nobody had ever done it before, and there we go. He even handed the shot. Here, hold this. It'll make you feel better. You know what I mean? Just casually, not, and that's why I'm sick of this language of today. Of you roll this. No, you write good characters. You put a good scene. We do not give a toss who, what. You write a good character. We love that character.
Yeah.
And there you go. They've done it so well. And there was nobody protesting. Oh, a girl had a shotgun. Nobody gave a shit. Like, yay. And then with the same actually working as a team.
Yeah.
And you have the flamethrower, have the shotgun, and they're basically going, taking out the zombie slugs. Brilliant. I can imagine everyone cheering, yay. First time seeing this.
Yeah, but did you notice that in the house they had all this going on, and the other girls were just stood there casually?
But it's like that's what I'm talking about. The movement, the movement is so slow. Like the house mother's cottage.
Yeah,
like there's somebody chopping up from under the floorboards, and she's just still sitting.
What's happening here?
And then she just looks at the corpse get up out of the thing. And why did he bury him with his ex? Put this guy as a police officer. The ex would have went the river. And
do you think the bus scene where they crash the bus, the driver is not looking at the road for about 10 minutes, and I know. And then he suddenly realizes it's this toy dog.
It was time to look at the road. I love the eyeballs. Like they were like
oh, brilliant.
But you weren't expecting anything from this movie.
No.
It's just goofy fun. But
that's I think from the moment it opened, when I saw those aliens, and you could tell they were men in rubber suits, because they look like the Michelin Man,
yeah. But how much effort went in that for like a throwaway scene?
Yeah,
where they could have had that. They could have had this escape from a government lab for a lot cheaper.
Yeah, but to you and I, just seeing that opening scene, we would have said, "Oh, this is a comedy. This is going to be good fun."
Absolutely. Well, yeah, obviously shooting up a corridor and missing like 10 times. Yeah, right. Okay, we know this is going.
Yeah. Then when the girl's in the car and it gets announced over the radio, oh, it's on route whatever 66 or whatever, the turning with so and so, and she's there looking at the signs, and she goes, "Oh!" And then she shouts out his name, and he's already gone.
But they did that even well. They did a parody of the 1950s, like the 80s did a parody of the 1950s.
Yeah,
in 1950s style, and then they could change the whole style of the movie. So there's essentially 3 movies. Like you got a sci-fi movie in space, it then flicks to the 1950s, and it's all 1950s style, and then it becomes the 80s.
Yeah,
and you're like, that is
clever, isn't it?
Yeah, and people try to pull that off today, and absolutely arse it up.
Yeah.
Where have these filmmakers gone? Fred Dekker, he also did God.
Yeah, what did he do?
He did
I've heard the name before.
He did one of the Predator movies, and he did. I looked him up. He's done quite a bit.
Yeah.
Hang on, we'll do the Google Eats. I'll Google Mathias. I meant to get loads of reference, but you know me with notes. If I overtake the notes, it just becomes a whole diatribe.
Fred Dekker.
Monster Squad. He did flipping Monster Squad as well.
RoboCop.
He did House 2. House and House 2.
He did the screenplay for RoboCop 3.
We'll forgive him that. He must have just been offered money.
He wrote both Predators. The Predator. Oh no, Predator.
The Predator. Oh, I never watched that one.
Star Trek Enterprise. He's done writing for. He's mainly a writer, isn't he, in teleplay?
Yeah. He did the first 2 houses. Monster Squad. Well, there you go. In fact, I need to do that one.
Tales from the Crypt. This TV series.
Mm-hmm.
He did the screenplays and writing for that.
Oh, he's done documentaries as well.
Yeah.
Oh, what's that? Nightmare and Blood.
Oh, House 2.
Yeah, he did both. He did the first 2 houses.
Yeah.
And then they brought him back for House 4, didn't they?
Yeah.
And obviously had him take some mushrooms before he started directing.
Yeah. He's done quite a lot of producing as well.
Oh, there's an interesting one. Nightmare and Blood. Attendees at a horror film convention in San Francisco keep disappearing. It turns out that the guest of honor is a real vampire.
Yeah.
1977. There you go. There's.
Might
add that one to the list.
Little boy in ape mask.
That guy, Dick Miller. Yeah. He's a. I mean, we're directors like Fred Dekker these days.
You don't hear of the name, do you? He's not someone that you, because he's got quite a wide ranging of talent. Because like he was a script consultant on Lethal Weapon 4 and Demolition Man. In other words, he took the script and thought, "Bugger that, that's rubbish." Scrap that. But then he's a producer, director. And writer. So
that was the thing with the 80s too. I think people are in too much competition now, so I have to be the director.
Yeah.
Where back then it seemed to be, okay, I'm a director, but I'm not going to direct this movie, but my buddy is, so I'll produce it.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? Yeah, there might have been a wee bit of nepotism, but at the same time, it was there was, like I said, there's a positive vibe about the 80s and the creators that shine through in the movies, where today it's all bleak and everyone's cutting each other's throat, and it shows in the movies.
But even the writing in the 80s, like the mistakes, who cares what was said?
No, because everyone's having a good time.
You know, that bit about, oh, here's your friends, one problem, they're dead. You just wouldn't get that in a movie today. Not even really a comedy movie.
No,
it would have to be tweaked into the right, terminology, and all things like that. It's
Cameron and I were at Internet Loggerheads on last Sunday because it did the remake of Slumber Party Massacre.
Yeah,
he's laughing his head off, and I'm just looking, going, I hate this movie. Just nothing about it made me even remotely giggle.
Yeah.
And you just wonder where people's heads are. It's just funny how one person can get one thing from a movie and somebody else. But then again, that's why there isn't just one movie, one book, and one piece of music.
Yeah.
That pleases everybody. That's why we have so much variety, because we're all different.
Yeah.
But it was just it was interesting, the fact that there was just that much disparity between the two. His reaction and mine to the same movie.
Yeah. Well, I suppose we're all different, aren't we?
Yeah, that's. But it's interesting, and it's good that there's difference, because it just, if everything was just, because look at generic pop culture, it's all rinse and repeat, factory, off the factory floor, and bland. And who the hell wants that for entertainment? And it's crap.
Very true. Very true.
But zombies, right? Okay, zombies full of alien slugs which explode. You can't beat that.
And you get, yeah.
Like, I mean, how can you top that for an idea?
I like the way he described it to the police officer. You know, zombies, they go in your mouth and they take over your body.
Yeah.
So what does he do in the closing scene? He puts a piece of masking tape on his mouth and stop him going in his mouth.
That was brilliant, though.
Yeah. But, yeah. I thought that was hilarious.
We forgot to mention he's casually just he's got this guilt, which is weird because he took care of a serial killer.
Yeah.
And also who pines over. That's a purely American thing. People talk about their high school days as if it's the epitome of their life.
Yeah.
That's like, really? That's I people could walk past me today that I went to school with and I wouldn't recognize them.
Oh no.
Legitimately, even definitely A levels because I was only there for 2 years, but I was at school longer. But I walk past people I go to school with and I wouldn't have a clue. I just just they're out of my brain because that part of my life is like ancient history.
I know two of my friends from school. We keep in contact on Facebook. I am a member of like the Old Suttonian Association, which meets every year for a dinner dance. I've never ever been. I've got no intention of going because I don't. It was years ago that I went to school. Left in 1981. But I wouldn't recognise them. No, they could pass me in the street.
I'm snapping at your heels. I left in 94.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's imagine. But that's yeah, he's still pining over his high school sweetheart. I couldn't even. Well, I didn't like people in school. I didn't have one.
He probably don't know what she.
I didn't even have a crush in high school because I just hated because my school was rough and the girls were rough. I was like, nah.
Yeah. Was it like so rough that the dogs walk around in gangs?
Yeah. And have you ever do you know that show Dairy Girls?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I was a late starter in life because that's the sort of girls I went to school with, and it's like, here you like, I'm like, oh my god, no, nothing worse than that millbag friggin' accent, like, I don't know, called chavs over here, but we call them millies, from the it was a playing like the women that used to work in the mills,
yeah,
millbags are just horrible, absolutely horrible, and I just ended up. It wasn't until like early 20s, I was able to go off because it got away from the school environment and like local. It's like, ugh. So just the idea of him still pining over his high school sweetheart is just hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, the fact that he's casually trying to like kill himself is just he's there, the flip, and you hear the background and he's playing his music and that. And then he hears the frantic knock on the door, and then you kind of build up because he goes and he takes the tape off the doors.
Why was it there in the? Yeah,
there's a clever scene.
He had this tape, but he just opened the door.
No, he pulled it off.
Yeah, he pulled the tape off, but then he just opened the door, didn't he? He didn't have anything else, and just opened it.
Yeah. But it was the whole still the way that scene was set up.
Could have been anything there, wouldn't it? But he still had the tape as sort of the security.
No, he was gassing himself.
Yeah.
It was to stop a gas escaping.
Yeah, I know, but what I'm saying is he just opened the door. He took the tape off.
Yeah.
And then just opened the door, didn't he? As if to say, there could have been anyone outside the door.
Yeah.
Even though, like, he had the door with the tape on, which he took off anyway. But if he didn't gas himself, there could have been a zombie outside the door. Who knows?
Yeah, but he wasn't. I don't think he's. Oh, the zombies did knock. That's right. The zombies did knock on us.
Brad, come and sit down.
Brilliant. Yeah, because it seemed like they still have the residual of their last moments sort of playing out. But yeah, that whole scene, the way it builds up, he goes, and then he just, all right, puts his jacket on, and then you see him in the background, and and then you get the scene of the gas, and he just casually turns it off.
Yeah.
Right, let's go do this.
Yeah. But the
Yeah,
camera,
there's a lot there.
did you see that the camera actually panned in on the gas cooker for quite a long time before he walked over and turned it off? And,
yeah, that's what I mean. It was just, but
yeah, and you were thinking, well, just how much gas is actually in the apartment, and
well, it was way, but obviously not enough because
yeah.
he hadn't smoked it. But still, so cleverly done.
Yeah,
and he's so casual about it. He didn't go around going, ha ha ha. No, he just right.
But they also showed that he never cleaned that cooker much. Did you see the state of it? All on the yeah, but it was good.
But that's what I said. Tom Atkins, we need somebody to play the drunk burnout. There you go. That's the way drunk burnouts live.
Yeah. Did they advertise it? Drunk needed.
Oh man, but then the finish of this movie just goes absolutely crazy.
Yeah,
and just gives up. It's just like, right, we're having fun. We're just having a big zombie fest.
Yeah, and when the two, the girl and the
Chris
lad,
and Cynthia,
they were sort of trapped, weren't they? And they went in that shed. But did you see it before they actually got in the shed?
They're all giving them enough time. That's what I said about the movement.
But they were right close to them. It was like, someone sat in the chair next to me. They were that close, and then suddenly he had time to whack the bloody lock off, didn't he? And then they sort of closed, and someone was right outside.
But that was I think that was part of the joke, because we already got the setup when he's like, Detective Cameron's like, shut that door, that door, lock that door. Yeah. It's just there, but the camera zooms out as if it's miles away, and she moves so slowly towards it. You're like, they're making a fun of the horror tropes.
Yeah.
It's actually, this movie's cleverer than what it lets on.
Yeah.
It's self-aware. I think that's why you get it, because it's actually self-aware of the horror tropes and why, and it just plays with them and just makes them a joke.
How is it advertised? I'm thinking of the taglines. Did they have any tagline?
Yeah, the good news is your dates are here. The bad news is they're dead.
Yeah, that was
the sort of tagline for
it. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So that would have, yeah, that's brilliant. I love that tagline.
But it kind of just sets up the whole, and it wasn't like it was stupid amounts, like the whole town getting taken over. It was a busload.
Yeah.
And it was just enough to be a threat, but still enough that they could deal with.
It wasn't the whole village or town where they were, it was just the
and they were spaced out enough so they could do the shooting and the flamethrower scene and run about and just make it. The pistol scene in the house. The camera shot, that was brilliant. It's going, bam, 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 and the camera's moving around with them. There's only 3 people in the room.
Oh, brilliant! But the girl's behind him at first, and then he turns around and she's a zombie as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
But they set that up anyway,
Yeah. But I particularly, like I said, like one of the final scenes when he had that piece of tape over his mouth. I thought that was so funny to stop because he got told that they go in through the mouth.
Yeah, and he'd seen it at that point.
Bloody hundreds of them there, didn't he? Yeah. In the corner, and so it's like this piece of tape was going to save him.
But that actually was sensible.
Yeah.
But, it worked.
Yeah.
But what was funny was when he took the tape off, and then the slugs seemed to know.
Yeah.
And then they all start coming in. Oh, here's the one guy with his mouth open.
Countdown, wasn't it? They'd done the slow countdown, 20, 19, and suddenly they went, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
Yeah, 15, 14. By the time I got them from the house, 15, 14, 13. 12. I think we've lost the pacing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then, of course, 1, thrill me, baby. Thrill me, detective, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Or detective, thrill me. That's what it was.
Yeah, something like that, wasn't it?
And then I think there is a Night of the Creeps too. Is there?
Well, there was the option, wasn't there? Because the body come out afterwards, didn't they? Of
yeah, Night of the Creeps, Zombie Town apparently.
That's another one I didn't hear about.
Yeah, so Zombie Town apparently they give it a different name. Yeah, Night of the Creeps 2, Zombie Town. Go with that come out. Don't know. Say. Yeah, so but they set it up because the aliens come back. And you see the spotlight and stuff as a stage.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
going over the graveyard.
Yeah. You got the spaceship above it. I mean,
that was a cool spaceship too.
Yeah, it was well in with the sort of alien type of spaceship.
Yeah, that was. It's not as if it was like there's effort went into the spaceship and the aliens for just such a brief scene.
Yeah. That's probably where they spent the £5 million or $5 million.
Oh yeah, we burnt our budget in these 2 scenes. Right, what do we do for the rest of the movie?
The zombie makeup wasn't. It was laughable, wasn't it? Really, but
it wasn't meant to be serious. So I didn't. Once again, I was having a good time, so I forget it, and even managed to throw in some gratuitous nudity, just the oh right, we need some boobies, have some, like no context and no need for it either.
Yeah,
just here, there you go, lads.
One thing that I laughed at as well, because I more or less do it myself. If I'm killing a wasp or something like that, I always say, I thought I killed you just now. See, and of course he says to the zombie, doesn't it? You son of a bitch! I already killed you.
Yeah.
I thought that was clever, but it made me laugh because I do it with if there's a wasp and I've got the old wasp spray, and then there must be another. Well, there is another one because I've already killed that one. I go, you bugger! I've killed you! I killed you just now.
Oh dear, we're below our KPIs. Sorry, dude. No, last 2 movies have had boobies. We've done because I've done quite a few 80s movies. But I don't know. I'm not keeping track. I just pick the movies. It's like somebody have to tally them all up. Go through all the reviews.
Return of the Living Dead is a good one.
Yeah, I've got that on the watch list. I need to revisit that. And I think about Return of the Living Dead 2. Was there 3 in that series?
Yes, 2 and 3 were terrible. Number 1 was fun, but
was number 1 the one with the pet shop scene?
I can't remember.
I remember freaking me out as a kid.
They
all go into the pet shop, and you're like, oh, you don't see anything, but you hear it, and it's like, oh no.
I remember it. It's a long time ago I watched it, but I remember the one thing I do remember is Roddy McDowell, and he's supposedly he's a TV vampire killer, but when he's asked by the young lad to do it in reality, he poos his pants, but he goes into the vampire and he says, he's already arranged with him to spray holy water on him, but it's not holy water, it's just ordinary water. So he's just spraying him, and then he turns around to the lad and more or less says, it's not working. Like, he can't be a vampire, even though this lad is convinced he is.
Is that not Friday Night?
Eh?
Is that not Friday Night? What movie did you say?
I'm thinking of the wrong one, and I'm thinking Fright Night.
Yeah, that's Fright Night.
It's Fright Night. Return of the Living Dead. No, I'm thinking completely the wrong film.
I do it all the time. I think when you watch so many, they all start jumbling in there. You have to.
Yeah,
That's why you have to watch them. You have. I have a 2-day window.
Yeah.
Before I watch something and review it, because if I leave it any longer, it gets lost in the ether. So it's like if I don't watch it like soon before I go on, no
it's
chance.
Like this one, I if I'm reviewing it with you, I watch it more or less either the day before or on the day.
Yeah,
but I've probably watched it a week or so previous. But
yeah, but you have to refresh
you,
yourself.
like you, it goes in one ear and out the other. Else, perfect example, Fright Night and Return.
Yeah, but that's it. When you've got so many, and there's a particular, especially 80s movies, because there's a theme and an aesthetic, and they all do kind of jumble in together. And when you laugh at one thing, like we've done it tonight, every review, and everyone that's come on and done reviews as well, we'll always do it, because when you laugh at one bit or you enjoy a bit of a movie, it always makes you think of something else.
Yeah.
And that's how you can tell a lot about a person in their repertoire, because you kind of know what movie someone likes, because it's like, oh yeah, that reminds me of this. And then you kind of see the back catalogue and things people have seen.
Yeah.
It's all part of the fun.
But I seem to recall Return of the Living Dead 2 and 3 were terrible, but number 1 was alright. And I can't. It's a long time ago I saw it. I can't for the life of me remember what it was about then.
Because I was thinking, Delta Same has to watch it beforehand. It's like, or else it all jumbles in.
Yeah. Yeah. But overall, I thought the film was. Would Steve ever consider writing a horror comedy? Since he enjoys both, it's tough to do.
Well, his joke book's pretty horrific.
Have you read my joke book?
If you want to read part of it, I need to.
Yeah.
Need to actually get a physical copy.
Well.
But you're sure enough of them. It's not an easy thing to do. Connie's really not.
To write comedy, I think you've got to be an absolute genius, because a lot of these comedians actually get people to write their stuff for them. If you go and see them, I went to see Michael McIntyre years ago, and word for word, both his shows, because I went with my niece, but I also went for my birthday with my son. And when we went for my son, good show, went with my niece a couple of days later, word for word, until he's, if one of the audience heckled him, but word for word, all his stuff was the same.
But is that not what they do, though? The do the set and then the only ones that don't do that is Al Murray.
Yeah, because he's more ad lib, isn't he?
Yeah, because he uses the front row of the audience and the gallery as his gags, and he throws them in, and that can change.
Yeah.
Jimmy Carr's awful. Don't like him. He's just one-liners.
He's just rude for the point of being rude.
Yeah. Peter Kay.
Peter Kay's good.
Peter Kay is the only other one I can think of. I'm not a big comedy fan, because so many of them are, and they're miserable bastards as well.
Oh yeah.
What's his face? The wee Scottish lad.
Oh, Kevin Bridges.
Yeah. And Billy Connolly.
Oh, Billy Connolly. Fantastic.
I mean, you're never going to light a candle to him.
No.
But that's it. Nobody else comes close.
But, yeah. And I know there's a lot of people out there that do write this comedy specifically for the comedians. Because there's a comedian who we had down at our club, and I can't think of his name, but he told me, actually, he used a writer to write his stuff. He used to tell him more or less what he wanted to do, and he had a writer who actually done it for him. And then he just had to stand in front of the mirror and practice.
Yeah, that's
but you could tell, like I said, with Michael McIntyre, I knew exactly what was coming, and to the word. And I was just thinking, oh yeah, this is a joke about the combine harvester using the road instead of using the field and things like this. And
but I think, especially horror comedy, I think you have to be in the zone.
Yeah,
and you actually have to love horror.
Yeah,
I don't think you can be a comedian and write horror comedy. I think you have to be a horror fan to write it. And you're like, this movie is, it's not vindictive, because that's where some of them, like that one, the summer party, I just felt it was venomous and vindictive and just, snarkiness. That snarky humor.
Yeah.
Which I don't like. It instantly turns me off. That's why I didn't get it. But then it seems to be a lot of American comedians are like that. They're there in the moan and the snark, and it's not really like.
I think answering this question, when I write a book, I actually become the main protagonist in the book, and I think about how they would do it. And I don't think I could write comedy horror because my characters are not in that zone, and I couldn't be the sort of funny protagonist, whereas I could be the killer protagonist, because I think down the line and think evilly and start doing the evil laugh like that.
The closest I came was my short story, The Ghost Train.
Yeah.
And it's based on Harold Soames as a health and safety inspector, like a council health and safety inspector. And I just personified every friggin' civil servant I've ever met and worked with into this one character. And I was laughing because everything he did and the way he got on was just, I pictured somebody sitting at the desk, across from me at a desk, and the way they got on. And I just poured this into this one character. But who did I model Alphonse on? Not so much myself, but my attitude.
Yeah.
So Alphonse, I wasn't a self-insert, but Alphonse was he was the carnival, the chief carny.
Yeah.
In this one, but he represented my attitude towards the Harold Soames of the world.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So his humor is, you're an absolute prat, and I'm going to do gnarly things to you. Much as I've imagined doing to a lot of people I've had to work with, you know what I mean? Yeah. And that kind of poured out, and I was laughing. I think that's the only short story I laughed throughout, because all the rest, I'm a fan of magic, and I like to tell stories that are magic based and the wonder of magic, and I kind of forget about the characters because I get carried away with the idea of magic and other realms and stuff.
Yeah.
So that kind of takes over my brain, as opposed to, oh, I want to write something funny. But that was unintentional, I think, the comedy in that one, because it's just the way I play it out. But the intensity to sit down and go, I'm going to write comedy, wouldn't happen. No. I'd be like sitting on this going, I'm going to do a funny show tonight. It would actually have the opposite effect. Because I think when you think about it, and it doesn't happen organically, because we've obviously had laughs. There's time I've had serious conversations, it's just go with the flow at the time.
Yeah.
But I think the minute you...
See, the thing with comedy as well is something funny to some could be not funny to others. I found it in the hotels in Torquay. Where I could go there one night and have a brilliant night with, telling loads of jokes. Next night I could do exactly the same jokes and wouldn't get the same response.
Yeah, just fall flat. And yeah. But that, once again, that's why there'd be one joke, one movie, you could boil this down. If people were all the same, there wouldn't be such a wide variety of art and material and expression,
I think one of the two funny things was I wasn't a kids entertainer, and some idiot agent booked me in for entertainment, and the room was full of kids, I must have had about 100 kids and 300 adults, And I was like, freaking hell, what am I going to do here? So in the boot of the van, I had my grandchildren's old instruments, things, and maracas and stuff like that. So, but I had a group of kids with Down syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
And they were all stood in front of the stage watching me close. It just made me think, bloody hell, what am I going to do here? So I got some of them up to be my band with these instruments. And they were brilliant. And then I got them to be my backing singers, and brilliant. And then did a few things like, the can, stuff like that, and Agadoo, and got them all up for that. And then the woman comes to me after and she says, who was in charge of them, oh, they've had a fantastic night. Thank you very much. And I was thinking, I don't really do kids, and one of the girls, I was on stage and I was doing Mambo number 5.
Mm-hmm.
Right in the middle of the song, she was banging my foot, and I tried stepping back, and she crawled up on the stage and was still banging my foot, and I thought, oh. So I had to stop the song because it was putting me off. I said, what's wrong, darling? She goes, you're singing the wrong words, and just caught me, and I thought, I'm not. I said, well, come up here. I said, you sing the right words for me. So, of course, Bob the Builder done a version. And of course, she got big cheers and everything, and really made her feel good, this young girl with Down syndrome. But the other one was quite by accident, and I didn't realise because without my lights away from the stage, it was quite dark. Was I was trying to get people involved, the audience involved, and it was an old lady, and I didn't realise she was in a wheelchair, and I tried to get her to do the can. But they all thought it was part of the act. See, and I was going, come on, lift your legs. And I was lifting her legs for her, then like this. And then I saw her and I thought, shit, she's in a wheelchair. She can't bloody get up and do the can.
Oh, you would be cancelled for that today.
I know. I just thought
you would be absolutely destroyed because the lady would have been cancelled too for laughing at it, for not representing properly.
Yeah.
For not, having wrong think, and you're like, fucking world. But that's it's like in this movie, JC's character, obviously, they're hinting that he has CP or something,
yeah,
or something, something like that there, and he even explains, you're my best mate, I love you, friggin'. When you're miserable, I'm miserable, so I want you to be happy at least. Because of my situation, I'm not doing this, that, or the other, But it's a, brave attitude. Once again, we've done this. The people preaching today about, whatever, it's like, nah, we've already tackled these issues. You just friggin' make a good character. Job done. If you want to dispel anybody's prejudice, you make somebody likable. End of story. It's so easy to do.
Yeah.
You make somebody likable, guess what? Nobody cares about anything else. We figured this out. Like by the 90s, we had this all sussed. And these miserable freaking bastards today are just like, you can't do that. We don't like you.
Yeah.
We want to moan and complain. Like, well, go over there. But it's no fun if we just do it ourselves. We want to annoy you because then you react. And then we get that weird thing.
Yeah. It's like my character Mark in my latest book, and some of the people I've spoken to who've read it said, at first you feel sorry for him, because he was bullied, but then suddenly you don't. You think
he became what he hated.
Yeah.
We were talking. Obviously, I'm not. Not gonna spoil. Oh, by the way, folks, tomorrow night we're previewing Horrific Tales. You get the sneak preview, first chapter. There's how it ends.
By the book.
There. You want to read the end? Oh, sorry, you missed it. Not the bad now.
In the end, he becomes Kylie Minogue.
There you go. Yeah, I sympathise with him because I was that awkward kid.
Yeah.
Overweight. Knock. It took me till my mid-20s to get comfortable with my skin. I know people just see this gobshite now that doesn't care.
Yeah.
And just gets on with things and like, oh, you must have always been like this. And like, nah, it took me nearly 30 years to get this way.
Yeah.
My worst time was like actually teenage years to my early 20s. That was the worst part of my life.
Yeah.
Because I was socially awkward, didn't have a bloody clue, completely naive about the world.
Yeah.
And idealistic. There's the most toxic combination to get, through into the world.
The character of Mark, the situation around it was actually me.
Mm-hmm.
I'd pick a lot of things out of real life, you see.
Yeah.
And that actually happened. No, the girl didn't chat me up. I was on the way to the youth club just by myself. And as I walked down the steps, this actually happened to me. Because I was a big lad, especially because I was coping with my father dying when I was 12 years old, and things just went haywire when I was 12 years old, and then this happened. They were all ridiculing me, and I just didn't want to go to school, and that's why I was put to a school away from everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I was put into town to an all boys school. That I was originally going to go to anyway, but didn't want to go to because I would have lost all my friends. But I was put there anyway. So, yeah, I've got the worst of sort of school bullying, but the character in this book is more or less loosely based on what happened to me.
Mm-hmm.
Not that I'm a stalker. It was only the first bit.
Yeah. I couldn't. I think that's one of the things as well. I couldn't put myself in the mind of something. Like I would lose interest. I genuinely have no interest in other people outside my circle.
Yeah.
And if people are in my circle, well, guess what? I interact. I don't like stalk, if that makes sense, because I don't see the point in it. But in my sort of like 16, 17, I was trying to step out of myself away from school, and I was just so bad at it.
Yeah.
I mean, I was awful. I was almost borderline stalking because I just couldn't talk to people. It was weird. Then I joined the army, and I got that beaten right out of me. Thing you used to do actually in the army was they made you give lessons. It was all part of your development, right? So what they did, actually they did it during the cadets as well. They'd stand you up, you would give a lesson, and people would heckle you while you give it.
Yeah.
Deliberately. And the point was to teach you how to push through that.
Yeah.
But the thing is, then it was your turn. So you obviously you give up and tried to give your 2-minute talk. Everyone else was like making fun of you, and you had to still power through and do it. But then you sat down and you gave it back to the next person. So everyone got it was a weird thing because everyone then got a taste of it, and then you're like, all right, so if somebody's giving a lesson or they're in charge, and that's why they always did command tasks.
Yeah.
Because then you were put in charge. I don't know, it was like you had the pen of power. So you were given the pen of power, and you were in charge because obviously we're all privates, so recruits. Duty student was no, you were in charge at that moment. So everyone then soon quickly got to understand. Don't dick this duty student about because they'll just do it right back to you when it's your turn. I mean, you need people to be on your side.
Yeah.
Don't be that person, and that changed me so much. Like if you put me now beside teenager me or early 20s me, 3 different people.
Yeah.
It's just it's funny about life, but then again, that's why you've got art to express stuff like that, and then you can just it doesn't have to be the whole thing verbatim. Just you take aspects, you create a story. Because your particular circumstance is unique, you built that part of the story.
Yeah.
And that's why storytelling will never end.
I pick up on things and might not be in the book immediately, might be in the next book or the next book, and things that have happened, especially in Plymouth. I changed them slightly, so there won't be a lawsuit. But
your favorite MP,
the MP, it's okay. You know,
Yeah,
I might just put him in the next book just to piss him off.
he's resigned today, so there you go.
Oh, that's awful. Yeah.
I can't think. You know, when I see here that bloke saying, that's not arsehole that harassed Steve. Slap it up.
Yeah, bastard.
He slagged off my mate. He started picking at my mate. You're be at the my mates. How about you?
Watch it. It'll be in the Sun next week. They'll be contacting me. Which MP was it? Yeah.
Fun times.
But yeah, this I think it's brilliantly written. This film for it's typical 1980s comedy script, like a 1980s movie that we would have expected anyway.
Yeah,
and it was fun. It had a good story. Not much of a story, but it
was tight. It was what more did you need?
Continuity was perfect. There wasn't any flaws or bits where you were thinking, "Oh, what happened there?"
No, everything tied up just nicely. Neat little bond.
Sometimes you don't get that today. You just, some movies you go and you think, "Well, what was that? Where did that come from?" But yeah, and it's such a shame that it didn't do better than it did. Like you said, it was caught in the middle.
It was just the wrong time. It was just there was too much stuff, too much great stuff that came out in that 3-year period. So,
and again, if it was done now, it would all be CGI. You'd have proper zombie bloody things instead of Brad sitting down.
Then you don't get the character. The thing is, if you had have overdone that with makeup, then you wouldn't have had the character. No. And that was the joke. That there's no difference between Brad, non-zombie, but that was the whole thing about the sorority culture and the fraternity culture. They're zombies. That's I think this was the start of this battle. This is the way nerds could fight back. Mm-hmm. These sort of movies fought back against the Chads and the Stacys.
Yeah.
That was the way nerds fought back, and then unfortunately at some point they twigged on they were being made fun of, while then all nerds and geeks just went and made off of their lives, and they're happier people, and they don't like it, and now they're sitting bitter in their 40s and 50s, so they're pouring their bile into their kids, and that's why their kids are messed up, because they're like, at high, the old trope of at high school I was this. I'd be like me sitting there, I was captain of the rugby team. Yeah, I'm brilliant. That was my thing. Yeah, I played 3 games. It was the second league team. They were crap. We never won a game, but I could sit and go, yeah, I was captain of the rugby team. Yeah, that's because freaking the bar was that low. I was the only one interested. You know what I mean? That's but that's those sort of people, what they became. They messed up their kids. Their kids are the ones now with this vitriol against nerds, because they see happy nerds and they see the bro culture, the Stacey culture. You know what I mean? What is the equivalent of a bro? I know it's a cheerleader, but what's the gals or something? Bros and gals or something. Girlfriends, bros and girlfriends or something. Whatever the call each other. But I think there's been a whole cyclic thing here happening.
Yeah,
and it's because of movies. I guess this movie showcased that struggle so well.
Yeah. It was just a typical sort of 80s fraternity thing, wasn't it? It's the university of culture of the 80s.
University of generic university,
and I think they've done it well in this one. If fast forward to something like the Scream movies and things like that, and it was just OTT.
Let's not. Let's not think of those movies.
No.
I still, I've only ever got as far as 2. I was in the cinema and I zoned out after, I don't think I was even halfway through. So I saw Scream 2 in the cinema, and I cannot remember what Scream 2 is about.
I don't think I can.
I literally zoned out. My head went somewhere else. I was aware there was stuff happening on screen. I know I was supposed to care about it. I didn't. I was done.
Yeah.
So how this franchise is managed to carry on, I don't know. Because
I
I'd
know.
already checked out. That's when I knew I'd checked out of the franchise. When you come out of the cinema when it was brand new, it was cool. It was the head of the curve thing. And I just thought, don't know what I watched.
Yeah.
Don't care. They've done it they've done everything they need to in the first one.
Yeah.
It was all right. But meh.
It's a bit like The Conjuring. I saw the first one. I thought the first one was quite original. But then the second one I knew the story of, because it was based on this English case of this girl being haunted, and they had they were telephone consultants. They didn't even come to Britain to sort it out. And they were just someone who they would telephone to ask their advice on it, and it sort of paid to my interest in The Conjuring. And there's another one due out soon, and The Nun. There's a Nun 2.
And The Nun 2. Are we actually getting that? I meant that. If Cameron messaged me about that, I forgot to check the listens.
It's been on and off all the time, isn't it?
Yeah. We don't know if we're getting a movie or not.
I saw another poster for it today. So
yeah, it's on the side of a bus. I saw it on the side of a bus, so I'm thinking, well, if it's on the side of a bus, it must be appearing in the cinema.
Yeah.
If it went that far, then there's a good chance we're getting it.
Yeah.
But there you go. That was a cool review. Bit of life reflection as well, and a few tangents, which is always good.
I give this on the thing 7 out of 10 for this one.
Oh, cool.
I thought it was, 7 out of 10 is good for me.
I don't believe there is a 10 out of 10 movie. I know people say it, but they just get over emotional. But there's no such thing, because even if you love, in fact, if you do love something, you'll pick it apart more, because that's just, you get too deep into it.
Yeah.
But say la vie.
The maximum I ever give anything is 9, because my opinion is there's always room for improvement.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So you'll never get more than a 9 off me. Never understood fraternities. I think you're pretty self-free out and get abused many times.
I think what it is, though, that's the whole data. Those same people that made Friends are the ones that got put into middle management.
Yeah.
So they've nothing to offer the world. They get put into middle management. The whole nepotism culture.
Yeah.
And that's why they know they're not doing anything with their lives, and they're only there because somebody ahead, further up the food chain, actually created something. And this cycle's went on, but then we're starting to see it fall apart because the meritocracy's gone. And
he spelt it wrong. He spelled Tinder YouTube. I'd rather make friends through Tinder. Oh no, YouTube.
But yeah, they see us agents, and there's a jealousy. I'm going to talk about this when I'm going to the sensitivity, because that's just a vehicle, I think, for this nastiness to come out again, because it's just pure jealousy.
Yeah.
Oh, those people are having fun and don't need us. I don't like that. I'm going to ruin their party. Oh, greetings. We're just about to wrap up, actually. Hope you managed to catch most of it.
Sup, everyone.
Sup. No. Maybe try Thunder 2. I shall not. I am done.
Yeah, no.
I am on the shelf.
Brilliant.
I will gather dust happily into my old age now. I have had enough. I do not need any more drama in my life. I'm just going to be a sad old nerd. No, I'm going to be a happy old nerd.
Whoa.
I'm just concentrating on the person I love most, and that's me.
My son come up for his birthday up too.
That's right. I saw you have
he says, why did you move up here, Dad? He says, you've always been a townie. He says, living in London, in Plymouth. And he says, there's nothing here. I says, brilliant, isn't it? I says, the most thing you get in the newspaper here is bucket stolen or something like that.
Bucket borrowed, not brought back yet. It's not even stolen.
bus 2 minutes late. And it's just we haven't got any fast food outlets here, and we got a co-op. that's it. If we want anything else, it's 10, 15 miles down the road. But and if it snows here, we do get snowed in because there's only one exit, only one entrance, and there's only one exit. So yeah,
almost like a survivalist community. How to have all the canned and dried stuff.
Yeah,
just for the snowy days.
Yeah. But,
stop talking like that. You're going to end up with a neighbour. I'm warning you.
I'd come here, mate.
Yeah. I'm lucky enough. I'm just outside London enough not to be London. I couldn't hack it. Honestly, yesterday and right in the middle of London and all that, I'm like, oh God, kill me now. I can't do this. Couldn't imagine living like
we go there a few times a year, but mainly to see a show. And Cole likes to eat in sort of Chinatown and all places like that, Japanese restaurants and Thai and all foreign food anyway. But so we do go, but I could never live there again. Never live there. I could never work there again. It's just not my sort of thing now. I prefer to be up here, and I write. I do a few other things. And
if people would hurry up and get me to 1 million subscribers, please, so I don't have to do a full-time job, it'd be very nice. Folks.
Yeah,
it's only a button click.
Great.
Support our stuff.
How many you got at the moment?
A couple hundred at the moment. I've been rising up. Actually, been getting more subscribers over the last week. We go in like peaks and troughs, so it's like it'll go stagnant for a while, and then it'll shoot up. Like at the moment, we're getting like new subscribers every day, more people coming on. Then it'll go stagnant again, and then it'll shoot up. It's weird, but we're always growing. But like I said, it's every platform, so it's not just this one. Every platform we're on just grows steadily. I just need enough that I don't have to worry about stupid employers anymore. It's not even the working bit. I could not be unemployed. I'd have to be doing something. That's just who I am. I have to be productive. I just can't be bothered with the nonsense of people.
Yeah.
I just
the hardest part for me is because of my epilepsy, I can't drive. Like I said, there's one route in and one route out here, and if the bus can't get up here, you're buggered. It's so. Yeah, that's the hardest part. It does. I tell people driving is a thing where it now restricts your life if you can't do it. And especially here. I could ride a bike, but
it's the same risk.
It's very icy, on the paths, in the traffic, because there's only one road in, and the roads are quite narrow because this is an old mining village. So it was built for, back then when, it's too dangerous to cycle on the roads. They've got the cycle track going beside the river.
So have you got a bat cave yet?
Hey?
You got a bat cave yet?
Bat cave, I could do one, couldn't I?
There's going to be one right in your doorstep. Just go half a bit around it. You're trying to...
Yeah, get one. Yeah.
That's what I've been looking for. I'm like, right, okay, where do I want to live? Here, where's the nearest old shaft that I can build a house right on top of, so I can be like down the pool to the podcast room. I'd be like piano, ding, 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 right into the podcast. Welcome.
Well, you got all the old mining entrances that have been bricked up.
That's one of them.
The mountain, so yeah.
That could be a hobby. Just tunnel your way in. Start in the back garden.
No, in my luck, I tunnel my way in, walk in, and go ah! It was the shaft. Shit, how am I going to get out of here?
That's what I'll try and do. I'll get a poll set up here, so when I do streams in future, Chris, I'll be like, "Welcome to the HORRORific podcast." And then what I'll do, I'll be bumping myself against it the whole time. Be like, dunk.
And And I'll get a pole for next time I'm on, but I'll just do the dancing around it.
What was it? It was the house series one. We started off the whole right. We'll have to declare whether we're pole dancers or not. I don't know how that started.
Yeah,
That was funny. I have to get Brianna back on the show again. She's actually She has it on her Instagram. She started pole dancing classes, and some of the boots she wears to put your flipping eye out. How she does it, I don't know.
Yeah,
but she kind of updates her. She's one of the authors, one of our authors. She's only been on once. I need to try and get her back on again. But yeah, she's showing her progress, and these boots are like freaking put your eye out. So I think, bloody hell, they're dangerous. That's a serial, that should be a serial killer character that kills people with their boots.
Yeah.
Oh God, what was that movie? The Kingsman, the Kingsman movie? Just
Yeah,
reminded me of that.
I've never seen it.
First one's good. Second one's daft as hell. I didn't watch the third one.
It's a bit like the Sherlock Holmes ones with
Robert Downey Jr.
Jude Law and Robert Downey Jr. Wasn't it?
Second was just like, what is this?
Yeah, first one was good. And the Mummy, number one with Brendan Foster.
Oh, Brendan Fraser, yeah.
Fraser, yeah.
Fraser, yeah.
Number one was good and original, really, and number two was a bit flat. Number three was terrible.
It was trying to be a Jet Li movie, but Jet Li not being good on it. Weird.
Yeah.
He's went downhill.
Yeah.
He used to make great movies, and then he just, I don't know what happened to him.
Yeah.
Remember he first appeared for Lethal Weapon 3?
Yeah.
And he completely, everyone's like, whoa, holy crap, what's this?
Yeah.
And then he was the man, and he just, I don't know what's happened to him.
Yeah.
But then there's Jackie Chan. He just knocks him out like 3-4 movies at a time. Still flipping same quality, still brilliant.
He does all his own stunts, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Jackie Chan. Yeah.
I mean, God, he must be pushing 70 now.
Oh, he must be easy.
At least.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because I remember it back.
Absolutely. Actually, hold on.
40 years ago, he was acting. Yeah.
What age is Jackie Chan? 69 years of age.
Oh, you were a good guess then, weren't you?
70. Absolute lunatic.
Yeah. He's still quite nimble, isn't he, for 69?
He showed him, what was it? There was a YouTube thing he popped up and he was showing people his workout.
Yeah.
And he's getting these like gym people, to try and do his like daily workout. And he's physically doing it, his 50 press-ups and his knuckles and stuff. And just, you do this. And he just, like, holy crap. These people that go to the gym are like puffing, like not able to do it.
Yeah.
Like youngsters, I'm like, okay, but you're the master. Long may you continue.
We went for an Indian the other day, and when we finished the meal, the owner of the restaurant come up and he went, "Curry okay?" I says, "Yeah, put me down for my way."
I just had to. You just had to, didn't you?
Yeah. It's like the Chinese takeaway. The refuse collectors went up to him and he went, knocks on the door and he goes, "Ching Chong," he says, "Where's your bin?" He says, "I've been to China." He says, "No, where's your wheelie bin?" He says, "I wheelie been to China."
We're getting cancelled. Thanks, Steve.
That's all right.
Yes, we did see the wob coming in going, "Oh, blah, 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 blah."
Racist!
Whatever. I've said worse in this show. I was done with. I think the difference is we all have stereotypes, and if it's done with hatred, that's the thing. That's when you know someone's actually being vicious. People need to lighten up. See the people clutching their pearls. Oh my god! Oh my god! That's terrible. Anyway, on that happy note, I think we shall wrap up. Yep, and
watch the film.
Yes, watch the film. Read the book. Check into tomorrow night's episode. You'll get a sneak preview.
Yeah,
you'll know what it's all about.
Well, will you?
You'll have an idea.
That is a question.
Every story starts somewhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, tomorrow night, obviously, we're featuring Stalker and Horrific Tales. So make sure you tune in for the live chat. Remember, live chat's active now, right until the premiere finishes airing. So jump on board whenever you can. If you can make it during the episode as well, airing, fantastic.
What time's
We'll
the
see you there.
episode on? What
9
time is it?
o'clock.
9 o'clock. Okay.
Yep, set the reminders. Go to the channel
Yeah.
and set your notifications. Ring that bell. I don't do that enough. Click subscribe, ring. That's why I say do the typey clicky things, because that's what I mean. Do all that stuff, because God, who am I speaking? Is it AJ I've got on Saturday? I have a guest on, and I'm God. Sorry, Anthony Carroll I've got on Saturday.
Yeah.
So Saturday as well, I'm chatting to Anthony. Zeta's novel Tragedy Man, so we're going to talk about that. And sort of talk about horror. The usual. And then we'll go on a few tangents as well. And then he'll either come back every week or he'll hate my guts. He'll be one of the two. It tends to be that reaction when people come on the show, either never hear from them again or like, actually, you're all right. I'll do this again. He wrote in like 20 different episodes. Steve, as always, mate, pleasure.
No worries. Yeah, thanks very much.
Always great to have a laugh with you. And obviously, we'll pick the next one soon. And hopefully, we'll see you in live chat tomorrow night for the premiere of your book, which is available in all good bookstores and online outlets now. So, plenty going on, as always. So, keep up to date with the channel, do the typey clicky things. And until next time, keep it creepy, keep it horrific.
Bye, boys.